Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that Iran has not crossed the red line he's set for its nuclear program, despite an assessment to the contrary by a former Israeli intelligence chief. Netanyahu at the United Nations in September drew a red line across a cartoon bomb to illustrate at which point he said Iran will have amassed enough uranium at 20% fissile purity to fuel one bomb. He said Iran could reach that stage by mid-2013. Ze'ev Elkin, Israel's Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, echoed the same concerns during a recent visit to Kiev, during which he underlined the lack of progress being made in talks between Tehran and the P+1, the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council, plus Germany, the United States, Russia, China, the United Kingdom, France, and Germany.
Unfortunately, we are indeed very concerned about the dynamics of the negotiations because no progress has been made to this moment. In parallel, Iran continues its uranium enrichment process. There should be a good understanding of what we face here. Iran has long been actively working to enrich uranium to the 20% level, which is not necessary for a peaceful nuclear program. The only reason behind this is that Iran is developing a nuclear military program, and Iran is gradually approaching a certain milestone, enriched uranium to the 20% level, which would be enough to build a nuclear bomb. All the other stages of creating a nuclear bomb, a rocket carrier, a trigger, can't be controlled by the international community. This can occur in secret anywhere. Neither we nor you, no one will ever know about it. Only later in hindsight, when the test is done, will it turn out that such a bomb exists. This is what happened in North Korea as well as in some other countries. The only step that can't be hidden, even though the Iranians tried to do so, but it always came to light, is the uranium enrichment process. And so we say to the international community that if we seriously want to stop Iran from making a nuclear bomb, the only chance to do it is to do it as soon as possible, before Iran has reached the red line, before it has enriched uranium to the 20% level. This red line can quite possibly be reached in a few months. Therefore, we do not have much time, and this situation, where Iran is deliberately delaying negotiations and kicking a dead horse without any real results, is very worrying. Several more rounds of talks and negotiations will be meaningless as Iran will have already developed nuclear weapons.
UN nuclear agency experts are scheduled to sit down again with their Iranian counterparts on May 15th in Vienna, leading to speculation by some Mideast experts that Iranian elections in June could soften the Iranian position and lead to compromises. But Elkin said the election outcome would unlikely influence Iran's religious leaders, who continue to reign supreme.
I'm not sure we have reason for optimism, whatever these elections will result in. At the moment, we are concerned primarily in our relations with Iran and its decision to develop its nuclear military program. This is the stance of the Iranian leadership. This is primarily a stance of their religious leadership. Therefore, all presidential candidates recognize the supremacy of the religious leaders. Others who don't are not allowed to take part in the elections within the Iranian democratic process. Not everyone has the right to run in the elections. All the presidential candidates support the continuation of Iran's nuclear military program. Other major countries of the Middle East competing with Iran for influence will also not be ready to accept that Iran has nuclear weapons, and they won't. Saudi Arabia plans to acquire nuclear weapons within just a few weeks after Iran has it. Apparently, they have arrangements. Naturally, Turkey won't allow Iran to be the only one with nuclear weapons, and it will follow the same path. And so will Egypt, which also aspires to play a leading role in the Middle East. Thus, a nuclear Iran would mean a nuclear Middle East, with all the possible consequences and dangers that poses.
The continued failure of the talks to produce results could cause renewed alarm, particularly from Israel, which had tempered its repeated threats of a military strike against Iranian nuclear sites in deference to diplomatic efforts, which, at this point, seem to be going nowhere.